have been making history this week. The most recent on Wednesday, when Max Scherzer's MLB record-tying 20 strikeouts took place against his former team. Tonight, a series with the Marlins begins, and maybe history repeats itself. We've got a big crowd coming into the yard for a weekend of Marlins Nationals baseball. Season series tied at 3 between the ball clubs. Marlins are doing well. They're over 500. The Nats are coming off an historical night. And as FP said a few days ago, you never know what's going to happen when you come to the ballpark. We might look back on this week years from now and say, that was the week that was.
Yeah, Sunday, Bryce 6 walks, got hit by a pitch on base 7 times without swinging a bat. Monday, the news of Steven Strasburg contract broke during the broadcast, and there was a walk-off home run that night. Tuesday was Steven's presser, and then Wednesday, Max Scherzer strikes out 20 guys. I mean, boring, right?
Yeah. And for everybody, a day of rest yesterday, and maybe we all needed one. Let's talk about Gio trying to get the weekend off to a good start. The ERA is low. The opponent's batting average is low. He has really become a pitcher.
Yeah, coming off a tough start against the Cubs, that's a tough lineup to navigate when you look at what he did last time. But there's the ranks of the starters this year. They've been lights out, every single one of them. Tonight against the Marlins, they're 5-0 against lefties. They're on fire. They got a bunch of righties that are absolutely locked in. I think Gio's biggest test tonight against a very hot-hitting Marlins ball club.
With a lot of right-handed bats in there tonight. And we have a left-handed bat, by the way. There's Tom Koehler. And in his career, Bryce Harper against Koehler has hit .321, 6 homers, 11 RBIs, damage already earlier this year. With everything that's happened in the last week or so, will the Marlins pitch to Bryce Harper, especially Tom Koehler? Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Danny Espinosa batting 7, Gio pitching, Rendon's at 3rd, Wirth's in left. Our fans are going to cover the whole lineup for us before we get this thing going. It's a beautiful night, clear skies. Yeah, the sun is out. It's been a great afternoon after the rain stopped. 74 degrees, humidity down, absolutely delightful. And maybe the ballpark plays a little smaller than it has over the last week or two. The last week, both home and away, has been one to remember for a lot of different things. Bryce's crazy day Sunday, and then from there on, FP, it's the pitching.
Yeah, the news about Steven broke on Monday while we were on the air, and then the walk-off home run, and Tuesday, Steven's press conference. Kind of a big deal, 7-year, $175 million contract, and then a night we'll all remember where we were. Max Scherzer with 20 strikeouts, history at Nats Park, and a night I'll never forget. You know, I was talking about it before the game, Carp. In the last 197 games, so the last game of the 2014 season, George Zimmerman's no-hitter. In the last 197 games, we've seen 3 no-hitters, a 1-hitter by Max with 16 strikeouts, and a 20-strikeout game. So in less than a 2-year span, all of those things have happened with the Washington Nationals and their pitching staff. Unbelievable stuff that we've been able to witness.
Who knows what's to come? The Marlins are a good hitting ball club, 3rd in the league at 276, but only 12th in runs. Their big boy hasn't really gotten everything going yet, but they have a speedy catcher, and with Deke Gordon out, JT Realmuto now is functioning as their leadoff guy, at least when they're facing left-handed pitching. Derek Dietrich usually in that spot, but that's a good lineup. Martin Prado is right behind Daniel Murphy in the league batting race. Gio 6-3 career against the Fish.
And last time he threw the fastball 69% of the time, curveball same, changeup only 15%. 7th start of the year for Gio, 2-1 record, 2.19 ERA. Last start against the Cubs on the 7th, a no decision, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, struck out 2, and walk 1 through 100 pitches right on the nose. And here's your defense tonight. Of course, Jose Lobaton catching Gio Gonzalez. And the rest the same. Worth, Revere, Harper, Espinosa, Rendon, Murphy, Zimmerman. And here we go. Let's play ball.
Yeah, Jose Lobaton usually handles Gio Gonzalez. And Dusty said today Wilson Ramos was a little upset not being in the lineup. 6 for 18 career against Kohler, but he said, hey, I got to play Lobaton at least once every 5 games, and he's done such a great job. And that was a situation that was in effect here before Dusty got here, and he does not want to mess with success between this left-hander and his battery mate. 17-year veteran Chris Guccione has the plate. David Rackley's at first. Larry Vanover's the crew chief, 27th year. He's at second base, and Alfonso Marquez is at third. So here's JT Realmuto, 1 for 5 career against Gio. Good-looking young catcher, batting .302. By the way, the Mets in Colorado tonight. Matt Harvey and John Gray out there. The teams are in a dead heat, identical records of 21-13. Here we go. First pitch swinging, that thing kind of spins off the end of the bat.
Well, in case you didn't know, since April 24th, the Marlins have won 13 of 17 games. And JT Realmuto's hitting a cool .397 during that stretch, and they've kind of pieced together the leadoff spot since Dee Gordon got suspended.
Yeah. Marcell Ozuna is hitting .432 recently, so they got that bat cranked up. This thing is straight up in the air. Anthony Rendon tiptoeing down the line, foul ball, 1 out.
I mean, the Marlins are Chicago Cubs hot at this point in the season. Don Mattingly's got his ball club playing really good baseball, and it's been all about just kind of grinding it out, getting solid pitching performances. Bullpen's been solid. Nothing really standing out. They're just playing good baseball.
Cubs ended their long 2-game losing streak today. At home against the Pirates, they won 9-4, and they are 8 games up on Pittsburgh. Here's Martin Prado having a great year. Second highest batting average in the league at .386 and an on-base percentage of .413.
He's hitting .422 during that streak I just told you about.
Against Washington pitching all time, .313. And against Gio, 3 for 14 with an RBI. Marlins have been a good road ball club too. They're 10-5. Only 8-10 in their cavernous ballpark. Look at this guy, .523 on the road. Danny Espinosa, and the Nats are going to get Martin Prado out. That's important first time around. Christian Yelich next. Now there's at least a chance you won't have to face Giancarlo Stanton in the first inning. Yelich hitting .350 against lefties, even though he's 0 for his last 10 against southpaws. Well, there's Stanton, who's hit 25 career homers against the Nats. Crowd settling in. Gorgeous night. Yelich at .325. Just out of the top 10 in the league, and he's got a good on base percentage of .439.
Sees 4.34 pitches per at bat. That's 5th best in the National League.
He's going to try to drop one into right center. He will. Bryce Harper over to get it on a hop. Yelich gets Stanton to the plate, first inning. Lobaton smiling. Guccione just greeted by the big man, who in his career against the Nationals has hit .315, on base percentage .407, the aforementioned 25 home runs, and he's driven in 62. And up and in strike. Wow. That's a lot of red.
You said something during the weather report that I hadn't heard in a while. The sun's out. I haven't seen it since we've been home, and everybody that was here, that lives here, said they hadn't seen it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Target way in. So somewhere George Harrison and his acoustic guitar are very happy because here comes the sun.
Just changes your mood immediately. There's the sun. And they're fired up to see it.
Yeah. A couple of people were able to find their shades. Some had put them away. 1-1 to Giancarlo Stanton, hitting just .241. Big time rip, and straight back it goes.
Yep, that's the sun. And you found your sunglasses. You haven't seen them in 2 weeks. Yes. I don't want to hear any complaining that it's too sunny or too hot.
Shift on. Nats would gladly concede a right field bouncing ball for a single. On a big curveball. Looks like he missed it. Lobaton dropped it. And that's it for the Marlins in the top of the first. So on one side it's shady. On the other side it's sunny. And everybody loving 74 degrees tonight. Pitches, 9 strikes. Here come the Nats, 9th in the league in hitting, 8th in runs, 5th in homers with 42. Ryan Zimmerman, big-time numbers against the Miami Ball Club. Hit his first career grand slam against them years ago. Used to love that little left field porch down there at the old football stadium. He's fifth behind the red-hot Daniel Murphy tonight. The only real change to the lineup, Lobatone handling Gio, and here's Tom Kohler.
Yeah, tossed a season-high 7 innings last start, May 7th against the Phillies. Gave up just 1 run on 2 hits, struck out 8. Threw 100 pitches, 63 of those for strikes.
4-7, 4.25 career against the Nationals.
He's a guy, I'll tell you what kind of night he's going to have early. If his fastball command is on point, he's tough to hit, but when he gets in trouble is when he falls behind with that fastball and has to lay one in there. He'll try to work you in and out and use that curveball as his out pitch.
Ben Revere's only 3 for 29. Came back 2 weeks ago. Kohler had him reaching for that. Has an RBI. And of course the Nationals won him on base for a variety of reasons. Use that speed, disrupt some first innings and some infielders, and then set the table for the big guys to come. The more he and Rendon get on base, the more opponents will have to pitch to Bryce Harper at some point. 1-2 pitch. That one headed out to right center, and Revere is aboard. Almost a carbon copy of the Yelich base hit. Leadoff man on. Here we go.
Well, there goes a no-hitter, Ben Revere. Hey, the barrel's overrated. He's due for a bunch of these. He's had some hard outs in this tough streak he's having. So blooper falls, maybe now you relax. Did a nice job of getting his hands inside the baseball. You come around that, it's a ground ball to second. You get your hands inside of it, you throw it over the infield. So a good start for Ben Revere.
Yeah, and I think pretty soon we're going to be saying a good start for Ben Revere means a good night for the Nats. Here's Rendon. 6 for 18 career against Tom Kohler, who's also walked him 6 times. Strike 1.
Well, now Anthony Rendon can feel the benefits of Ben Revere on first base. What's that mean? Well, you probably get more fastballs. You have a hole to work with, which when Ben Revere doesn't reach, you don't. And Anthony Rendon is as good as anybody at going that way with a fastball.
Yeah, great stuff. And also the infield has to play up,
Cutting
cutting down some of their range.
Anthony Rendon will heat up as Ben Revere heats up. It'll be that simple. Watch.
Can't wait. Cannot wait to see that. So after missing with the slider, it's 1-1 for Kohler.
It was that way with Denard Span. When Denard Span was on, Anthony Rendon raked. When they both scored, the Nats never lost. When they both got on base, the Nats never lost.
So Ben's career stats you saw stealing. Hasn't attempted one yet this year. Not a big lead. He's kind of leaning back toward first at the moment. And he came hopping a little further off the bag, and now Kohler behind, putting this thing into a pretty good hit and run or run and hit count. Here he goes, swinging a foul as Rendon had a pretty good rip at a fastball up.
Set the defense for the Marlins tonight behind Tom Kohler. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton the outfield, Echeverria, Prado left side, Rojas, Johnson right side, and JT Realmuto behind the plate.
Realmuto, by the way, 4 for 15 against opposing base runners. So his staff has done a mediocre job of holding guys to give him a chance. Now 2-2, Revere holding. Check swing and a foul.
Yeah, that had a little more run than the fastballs Anthony's seen earlier in this at-bat. 2-seam arm side run. Nats wearing their Stars and Stripes jerseys on a Friday night. You'll see that all year long at home.
Well, this at bat dictates what happens next. Another 2-2 and set another throw over. So here's where you've got the infield, the pitcher, the catcher, the opposing dugout, everybody preoccupied with your leadoff guy. By the way, the last time the Nats saw Kohler was the last time they saw the Marlins. That was that 5-1 day game win that got them a series split in Miami, April 21st. Kohler pitched well. 1 run, 2 hits, 5 innings.
They had him on the ropes in the first inning of that game, and then they settled down and pitched very well.
Yeah, Rendon hit a hot shot, line drive out. Bryce Harper hit that homer, and then Murphy lined out. I mean, they were getting good swings all over the place. Nats only had 2 hits all day. 2-2 again. Revere running, pitch low and away. It was off speed, and they've got him, it looks like. Then Revere called out by Larry Vanover on a bullet by JT Realmuto.
I'll tell you what, JT Realmuto, and I've said this before, reminds me of Craig Biggio before he moved to second base. I mean, he's a smaller catcher. He's very athletic. I mean, he picked that ball, got rid of it quick, almost like an infielder. Watch him go to the backhand side, short hop, get rid of it all in one motion.
Wow.
That's as good as you'll ever see, folks. That's impressive. I mean, that's an athlete behind the plate for the Marlins. And maybe someday he'll play second base and lead off. Who knows?
Well, you're right. Everything worked against him on that pitch. Still made the play. He's only 25. And then Rendon takes the 1-out walk. He's at first, and here comes Harper. And the much anticipated Harper versus Kohler matchup that has been pretty ugly for the pitcher over the years.
When Tom Kohler's had success against Bryce Harper, it's been with that knuckle curve. It's one of the better curveballs in the National League when he's locked in with it. And he'll show the fastball into Bryce, get him thinking about the fastball in the inner half, and then go to that curveball. Although there's been times when it didn't matter what he threw up there, Bryce was hitting it.
Modified shift on.
There's a fastball in.
Target in. Bounces it. Realmuto the block. Rendon can't go. 2-0.
Hart wasn't in that slider from Tom Kohler.
I mean, when he counts 5 days into the future, or 10 or 15, and knows when he's starting, and he sees Washington in there, you know the first thing he's thinking about. That looked like a 2-0 changeup. And Murphy is 1 pitch away from batting with 2 men aboard. Outfield deep. Harper taking 4-pitch walk. Bryce Harper walks for the 36th time, and that ties him now for the league with Paul Goldschmidt. In fact, that's the major league lead. Base hit and 2 walks here.
Talking to Dusty Baker about Daniel Hits Murphy today. I said, do you think he can win a batting title? He said, absolutely. He said, it's my job to keep him fresh so that he can accomplish something like that, meaning he's on base all the time. It's not like he's running back to the dugout and putting his helmet in the rack. He's standing up every single game, running around.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Carp, a guy that grinds every single pitch. I mean, he's a thinking man's hitter. He's got a game plan. So when you're that focused, you can become mentally tired after 3 or 4 months. So all those things involved, I think if Daniel Murphy stays healthy and he gets his rest, that he has a chance to win a batting title. And he has a chance to do I think, some damage as far as a long hitting streak goes as well.
Well, there are the numbers from Jeep that back up everything we're talking about. He had one of his few offers that day in Miami when he lined out, was hit by a pitch, and then lined out again against Kohler. 1-0, Murphy got jammed, pops it back. Real Muto goes with a one-handed grab. 2 down, it's up to Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, it came back on him and he had to adjust. He almost didn't throw his helmet far enough away. Seen catchers come back and trip over that.
Kohler worked with Jeff Mathis last time he faced the Nats. So here's Ryan Zimmerman, who's 6 for 20 career against him. And Ryan's warming up, 273 over 10 games with 8 RBIs. The 2-homer night. One homer, 3 RBIs career against 29-year-old Tom Kohler. Good speed out there. Rendon at second, Harper at first. See the play ball weekend patches the players are wearing. They had special t-shirts during batting practice today to get kids excited about baseball again and get them some of the equipment they need. The Nats will be instrumental in that by collecting equipment here Sunday from the time you get to the ballpark until the 2nd inning.
Those are seams. I thought they were tire tracks when I first got here. Thought there was a monster truck show on the field.
Well, in the past, Kohler probably thought those were Bryce Harper monster truck tracks running right over him. But he got him at least to keep the ball in the yard this time by walking him. Got Murphy on the pop-up. And now a tough hitter, Zimmerman, 1-2. Ryan went and the inning is over. Nats get a base hit, 2 walks, and never got anybody past second base. Scoreless after 1.
Where else would you rather be? No scores. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. Well, you might want to be at the Taste of the World deal on May 28th. Come out to the Taste of the World pregame food festival. With a special ticket, you can enjoy bite-sized culinary delights from around the world. You can also get those salt and pepper shakers. Go to nationals.com for more details. All right. Bite-sized culinary delights. I feel like you better get here early to get full.
I'm wondering how many bites per person allowed.
Is it all can you eat?
Here is a bat the Marlins had been waiting for last time we saw him. And now an 11-game hitting streak for Marcell Ozuna. 16 for 34. During that streak, he's raised his average from 218, and what a changeup by Gio, to its current mark of 295. Another kid who's just 25 and still trying to figure out how to play every day offensively at the big league level. 1-1 pitch.
I might be mistaken, but his stance looks like it's more open than last time we saw him.
He's got those feet 380 wide, apart. 2-1.
Yeah, this is a whole different stance. Open, coming to a kind of a tap to a closed position.
In the air to right, this one tailing toward the line and fairly deep. Harper in the corner, and he grabs it right in front of the 335 mark. Ozuna's live bat nearly carrying one to the wall.
Which way is the wind blowing? I don't know if it's because we're so high up and I couldn't tell, but I thought this ball was just a routine fly ball to right. And maybe that's just Marcell Ozuna creating a lot of backspin, but you saw Harper make the adjustment right there in the middle of the route. He catch the fence with his eyes. You saw him take the eyes off the balls. Some knucks from the bullpen, well deserved. That's a tricky little play Bryce just made.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson Robledo, bullpen catcher. Here's Chris Johnson, the first baseman. Chris Johnson, 31 years of age. He's only had 39 at-bats in 24 games this year. Hitting .231, 7 for 20 career against Gio. He's got that changeup going so far against these right-handers.
Really good change working so far.
He was asked today, Gio was, how do you deal, or rather Dusty Baker, how does he deal with all these right-handed batters? He said, keep the ball down. Well, after a couple of off speed, then you can take the fastball upstairs. Gio now 3 in a row, 2 of them on strikeouts. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Well, it gets you looking down for the changeup. Look where pitch number 3 is compared to pitch number 4. So changing the eye level of Chris Johnson. And you see Jose Lobaton, he's up in the squat. He wants that ball elevated. Nice execution.
Here's Danny Echeverria, the shortstop. And now he's struggling. Batting average .223. One with 2 outs. Danny Espinosa, one-hander on the run, and Gio Gonzalez a quick 1, 2, 3. Top of the second, he's retired 6 out of 7. No score early. Ben Revere, no score. Nats got a couple of walks in that first inning. And if they can bust through tonight, when they win big, everyone wins. All season long, when the Nats win and score 7 or more, 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Use promo code NATS50. It's valid at participating D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. The official pizza of your Washington Nationals. Worth, Espinoza, Lobaton. Kind of a long first inning for Tom Kohler because of the walks. 23 pitches, 12 strikes. Jason Worth, 5 for 21 career against him, with a couple of home runs. Jason having kind of an odd season. 22 hits, 12 of them for extra bases, but still hitting under 200. No, he needs some singles, but he's hit a lot of line drives right at infielders too. 1 out. Good to see Danny Espinoza leave the yard. That was a big run he drove in Wednesday night.
It was. And I tell you what inning it is, but my scorecard's in Cooperstown.
There was the bottom of the 7th.
There was a couple strikeouts in that game where they wanted the card. But yeah, it was a huge run when you talk about the final score. And, you know, that wasn't the old 7-0, Max just letting it rip, striking out 20 hitters. That was a tight ball game. I talked to Ryan Zimmerman today. He said he was going for that ball in the well. He had that smile on his face after the ball dropped in the camera well over there in the 9th inning. And we were thinking, did he let that drop on purpose? He said, no, I'm playing the game straight up. You know, we got to win that game. Ryan said we got to take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. And Max Scherzer said the same thing yesterday on 106.7. He said he was all about the win. He wasn't even thinking about the record. He just wanted to beat his old ball club.
Yeah, he wanted Ryan to catch that ball, he said.
Great
I just
interview.
needed outs, he said.
Yeah, great interview with Grant and Danny yesterday. He was still giddy the day after. It was awesome. Yeah.
2-1. That's a fair ball to his left. Chris Johnson takes care of that. Now that's 4 straight for Kohler.
Let's go back to Wednesday for a second, right? Why not? Let's relive it one more time. The last few strikeouts from Max, it was all about the power fastball. You know, his slider, I thought, was as quick and as late as I've ever seen it. And then the last out of the game, McCann grounds to Anthony Rendon, a guy that he had handled 3 times already in the game.
I like the way Max celebrates his big game. He's no statue out there. We're not talking about a robot of a pitcher. This guy, he wears it on his sleeve and everywhere else, and I find that quite refreshing.
Yeah, me too. He needs that extra day. I mean, he reached back and was throwing tons of fastballs, tons of strikes. The only other 20 strikeout game where the last out was not a strikeout was Roger Clemens in '86. I mean, he had a legit chance at 21.
So tomorrow, Strasburg and Roark scheduled in the doubleheader games. Joe Ross Sunday. Monday, an important off day. And then Max and the Mets Tuesday night. Swing and a miss. Lobaton at 93 by him. And the count's 1-2. Trying to get Gio to the plate here in the bottom of the 2nd.
It was cool that Max gave Steven Strasburg a lot of props for watching his performance against the Tigers earlier, saying, you know, he elevated the fastball at 2 strikes. I saw what he did, and that was my game plan.
Well, that's important. Lobaton draws a 2-out walk. That has to irritate the heck out of Don Mattingly with the pitcher coming up. So more on Max. Let's go inside some more numbers from Jeep. Obviously ties the record Randy Johnson, Kerry Wood, Roger Clemens. And what I still find hard to believe, 96 strikes out of 119 pitches.
33 swings and misses. He had the nerve to throw 23 balls.
Had to keep somebody honest. Gio jacks one. Lobaton might score. Heading for third. Bob Henley's going to wave him in. The throw is up the line, and it's right into Jose Lobaton. And for the second consecutive ball game, a Nats catcher gets thrown out, trying to score from first on a double. Game is scoreless. Gio, second hit of the year, hit it extremely hard.
When you talk to Bob Henley, he's in charge of the pitchers hitting. He's been throwing in batting practice, and what he told me he's been doing is throwing extra hard to him. And you see they're always on the fastball, and he's forcing them to get their foot down early. So Gio absolutely roasts one in the gap. Nice cutoff in relays. Jose Lobaton with no slide at the end, but a nice relay throw from Edeni Echeverria right on the money to JT Realmuto. And I don't know if he got caught in between or was concerned about the new rule at home plate, or if Ben Revere was not telling him to slide. I feel like if you slide there, you might have a chance. You never know.
Well, they have to give you a sliding lane, supposedly. By the way, the Nats pitching staff is hitting .203. Very respectable.
Yeah, Bob Henley never used to throw live BP to the guys, and apparently he throws really hard. And the pitchers, in order to hit him, have to start their swings early, but it's translating in the game because they've been raking all year.
Here's the second baseman batting eighth, Miguel Rojas. Benefiting from the absence of Dee Gordon, getting playing time at second base. By the way, Dee Gordon was hitting .266 at the time of his 80-game suspension.
And if you're wondering, well, how have the Marlins won 13 of 17 without Dee Gordon? I think our players are conditioned to guys get released, guys get traded, guys get hurt all the time. So when, you know, we as fans say, oh my gosh, he's suspended for 80 games. How are they going to deal without Dee Gordon? How's this going to affect the ball club? Well, players are used to it. You know, your best friend gets traded one day, your other buddy blows out and he's out for the season. You know, you're used to losing guys, and so it didn't affect this ball club from what I've been told in the least.
And I've heard some chatter about that, different conversations. Somebody said, well, check with me in a month and see how the Marlins are doing without Dee Gordon, or check with me at the All-Star break. Because, as you well know, you can compensate for a couple of weeks. After that, the absence of a big-time player gets exposed. Don Mattingly doing a fine job. Only 2.5 games behind the Mets and the Nationals.
He's ready for yoga in the outfield on Sunday. Did you see that? He'll be out there.
What I find interesting is Mattingly's, at least so far, revenge against the NL West. They're 8-2 against those teams.
Swept the
there.
Dodgers in 4 games. That had to feel good for Donnie Baseball.
Yeah. Guys won't say it, but you know.
Oh.
You know.
It's just another game.
Yeah. 2-2.
I looked up Donnie Baseball today because today's the anniversary of Joe DiMaggio's streak. He had a 24-game hitting streak with the Yankees one year. I figured he'd have a high one.
Yeah. Pete Rose got into the 40s, I think 44 at one point. Ryan Zimmerman, 30, 31 maybe years ago. Swing and a miss at a changeup, which was up. And Gio has 3 strikeouts.
Boy, he's just gaining so much confidence in that changeup. And tonight, it might be the best one he's had this year just because he's throwing it in the strike zone when he wants to. He's fading it out of the zone when he wants to. And he's making it look just like his fastball. Look at this, good arm speed. Gearing up for the heater, pulling off of the changeup.
Tom Kohler, 1 for 8 this year. 088 career hitter. 0 for 2 against Gio, who, by the way, is now 1 for 2 against him after that double. Funny how you see something at the time and it doesn't turn out the way you think. I thought when Gio's ball bounced and stayed in the ballpark, Lobaton might have a chance to score. Now the Nats would have been better off had it bounced into the bleachers and given Revere a shot to drive him in.
I think if Ben Revere was more locked in, Bob Henley would have stopped Wilson Ramos and Jose Lobaton. But as a third base coach, you're always thinking ahead. Who's on deck? Who's coming up? This is why I'm setting him. This is why I'm holding him.
That's a strikeout. Number 4.
And if Ben Revere's in the middle of a hot streak, he stops both catchers in both instances.
So first time through the order, the Marlins go 1 for 9 with a Christian Yelich flare of a single. Next up, the catcher JT Realmuto, who's already cost the Nats at least 1 run, maybe 2, threw out Revere prior to a couple of walks, and then handled that throw to tag out Lobaton. Out to short. Danny Espinosa backed up a little bit. Always has the arm to compensate. And Gio is off to a great start, retiring 9 out of 10, top of the order, ahead for Washington.
Nationals Park. Ben Revere singled his first time up, but he's coming off a tough Tiger series. Went 0 for 12, including one game when he went 0 for 5 with 5 ground balls to the right side. And we saw the last couple of years with Denard Span, a similar type of hitter, speed guy, left-handed hitter, that when he was pulling the ball on the ground, he was kind of in a little bit of a funk. But I talked to hitting coach Rick Shue the other day. He said Revere makes his living beating ground balls out and hitting liners. He doesn't mind if he's hitting the ball on the ground. He just doesn't want Revere yanking everything to his pull side. He said that there was a stretch recently, that series against the Tigers, when Revere might have been pressing a little bit, letting the fact that he'd been hitting some balls hard and not getting the results affect him a little bit. He got out in front of a couple pitches, was letting the bat hat out too early. He's not worried, meaning Rick Shue. He says the stats on the back of the bubble card don't lie. Water will find its level, and he wants Ben Revere hitting the ball on the ground, just not entirely to the pull side, guys.
That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
Well, he's got 8,000 things going on, and it takes a minute to sync all that up. I mean, he drops his hands. He's got a bigger hitch than Ryan Zimmerman. He jumps at the pitcher. He's got a leg kick on top of that. So all of those things take a while to kind of get into sync when you've missed a month.
Big curveball.
Plus, he's hit some balls hard with nothing to show on top of it.
Yeah, Ben, a good hitter, not a big on-base percentage guy coming into his Nats portion of the career. .295 batting average, .328 on-base percentage. So he hits his way aboard because he makes contact so much.
Comes that Kohler curve second time around.
Numbers even better over his last 3 years. 2-1, there's that bouncing ball to the right side. Rojas got a belt-high hop. And that's how the third inning gets underway with Rendon and Harper the next two.
When you've missed a month, the game looks like it's going fast. So as a hitter, you have a tendency to want to jump out and get the baseball. When you get some at-bats under your belt, the game slows down and you'll let the ball travel deeper because you'll start trusting your hands. And I feel like for Ben Revere right now, the game's moving fast. He missed a month and he's jumping out there to get the baseball. It's a natural reaction that a lot of hitters go through in spring training.
Inside edge for a strike, off speed to Rendon, who right after Ben Revere was thrown out trying to steal, walked in the first inning. So did Bryce Harper, but Kohler got Murphy and Zimmerman to put an end to it. That's fair ball for a while and then made that left turn before the bag. Prado not that far off the line. All it is strike two. Good look at it right there. Swing and a miss. Kohler, second strikeout. Well, Bryce Harper had his Harper Heroes kids here. He teams up with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Kids come to the ballpark. They get a meet and greet with Bryce, T-shirts, ticket for the game. They get to view a special batting practice time. And then there's Anthony's Academy All-Stars, scholar athletes from the Youth Academy. Tony's on the board of directors now. They get to come to the ball game. They get a private meet and greet.
Very cool.
Nets, Bucks, you name it, the kids get it thanks to Harper's Heroes and Anthony's Academy All-Stars. Anthony has stepped into the shoes of Ian Desmond over there at that wonderful baseball academy on the other side of the Anacostia. 1-0 to Bryce. Two 2-0 to Bryce.
Just say 3-0 to Bryce. Never know, gotta be ready for a mistake. Pounce on that thing.
Three 3-0 to Bryce.
You call a walk better than Vin Scully.
Well, you know, the moral of this story is, FP, they're not pitching to Bryce Harper. Hey, we need Vinny to come up big. His last year.
Can't wait to see him. When do we go out there?
Saw a great story about, I think it was Kevin Plawecki of the Mets hit a home run. His dad heard Vin Scully call his son hit a home run.
Wow.
How about it? Cool as that? 4-0 to Bryce Harper. Fourth walk by Kohler already. Somebody's got to make him pay for these free passes. So as Jeep takes us inside some numbers, Bryce has taken Kohler deep 3 times in a game. Adrian Gonzalez, Andrew Kashner, Ryan Zimmerman, Chris Tillman, Ike Davis, Ian Kennedy, Casey McGee, Edwin Jackson.
Casey McGee, I don't think of home runs when I think of Casey McGee.
Yeah, he turned into a singles and doubles guy.
Yeah.
Last couple of years. So here's Murphy. Bryce will be trying to get a good lead over there because Murphy hits so many doubles. You can score from first with 2 outs with speed. He's hit 13 of them this year, second most in the National League. Gerardo Parra of Colorado has 14. Starling Marte 13. Murphy, the far and away leader in the National League with multi-hit games, 18. Manny Machado, Orioles, 17. Here's Nissan with the entire at bat. 1 pitch. Close, but ball 1. Funny, Murphy the best in the National League at home, and Prado is the best on the road. Two and 1.
Well, Marlins are trying to go in on Daniel Murphy, and I think that used to be the book on him, but not lately. He's been doing damage. If you miss on the inner half and you're trying to go in, he can shoot you.
Murphy pulls it right to Chris Johnson. So the Nats have had a frustrating night so far. Only 1 hit, 4 walks, and now 4 runners stranded. And their families here at the ballpark tonight. It's our Navy Federal Credit Union Troop Recognition. Proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Navy Federal Credit Union, insured by NCUA.
Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one on this Friday night, look forward to Miller time later in the ballgame. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Here's a tough 2-3-4 for Gio. Prado, Yelich, Stanton. Martin Prado, ground ball to Espinoza at short first time. Guy who's really changed his approach to hitting over the last year or so, hasn't he?
Yeah, just about gathering hits and not worrying about driving the ball. Marlins Park frustrated him early in his career as a Marlin. He was trying to drive the ball like a lot of hitters do when they go there and seeing no results.
Yeah.
He said, I'm quit worrying about doing that and just get some base hits.
Yeah, how about 44 hits so far, fourth most in the league. Two and one to Prado, who's now 32 years of age.
Although in our one trip there this year, it played different. The ball was traveling. Guys were hitting home runs.
Yeah, especially during that seventh inning that night with four of them.
Yeah.
2-1, and there's the off speed again. Gio will throw at any time in the count right now. He is so confident with it.
I'm telling you, in 2012, if you faced Gio Gonzalez, you were getting a 2-1 fastball 90% of the time. Now hitters don't know what's coming.
And back then he might overthrow it and go to 3-1.
Or blow it by you.
That ball's well hit to left. Worth going back. Base of the wall. He's got it. Ball hung up long enough so Jason could get back. And it doesn't hurt when you have a left fielder who is as tall as Jason Worth at 6'5".
So just like I was saying, Martin Prado forgot about driving the baseball. He's just trying to get singles. Nice scouting report we got. Well, look at Gio, thought he'd give up a home run. Look at Gio's reaction. Watch Jason Worth, great play up against the wall. And watch Martin Prado coming around second base. He actually tipped his cap to Jason Worth. Gio, okay, I'll take it.
It stayed in.
Thought it was gone. And then Prado tipped his cap to Worth coming around second.
It can be a very sportsmanlike game sometimes. Christian Yelich has the Marlins' only hit. Out to right center, a flare. Just a couple of steps in front of Bryce Harper first time up. Yeah, that was Prado making a bid for his first home run of the year.
I mean, it's nice sportsmanship and all, but
well,
when that happened to me, I felt like running out there and tackling the guy and getting in a brawl in left field. Not tipping my cap, telling him nice play. But I guess when you got as many hits as Prado, it's just another at bat. For me, that would have been a week's worth of hits. That's why I wanted to go kill him.
Good hitter, that guy. 1-2 with one out. Yelich reaching, just got the end of the bat on it.
Nice play. Way to go. Way to rob me of a hit, Jason.
Wouldn't have been a homer, but at least a double. Swing and a miss on 82, dropping down and in. Did he just throw a changeup to a lefty?
He did. Telling you, different guy with just the finesse. Geared up for the fastball, gets a changeup. A lot of times lefties won't throw lefties changeups. I never understood that theory. I guess because it comes back onto the barrel and they could square it up. But if you don't ever see it, why not throw it?
Good look at the strikeout thanks to our friends at Mercedes-Benz. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. Gio struck him out. First time to end the first inning. Goes with the gas. And that's 90 popping like it's 94.
Is that a called strike or a swinging strike? Because I didn't think that fastball was close.
1-1 pitch. That's a beauty. Well, he is 6'6".
Good call. Probably top of the zone, right? And this one on the inner half. Changeup. I'm going fastball.
This one in the air. On the left side of the infield, Danny Espinosa.
That almost brought the rain back.
It finally came down, and this game goes to the bottom of the 4th inning. Gio and Kohler hooking up well. Go the last couple of nights. William Howard Taft, quick start. Pretty good down the stretch as well. I don't know where Mr. Hooper is tonight.
And
then
then
5-man race.
Wilson Ramos came out and tackled him. Did you see that?
Okay.
Was that a Buffalo? I don't know what that thing was.
Zimmerman, Worth, Espinosa, 5, 6, 7. Quiet ball game for the hitters so far on both sides. Gio's retired 10 straight, by the way, and is averaging 10 pitches per inning. Kohler is averaging 18 pitches per inning, and the Nats haven't made him pay yet for 4 walks. Up and in, 2-0. Got under that one. It's popped up left side.
It's as high as Stanton's.
Prado made the early call. He'll stay with it and make the grab. Next 5 TV games here. 2 of them are tomorrow. 1 is on Sunday. And then it's on to New York to start a series on Tuesday. So 1 o'clock tomorrow, Steven Strasburg. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Tanner Roark. Sunday, WUSA 9 joins us for the Joe Ross game. Guys will enjoy another day off before heading to New York City. 3 there and 3 at Miami on the next road trip. You were asking about LA. That's the road trip after that.
All right.
Nats will go San Diego.
LA and then Milwaukee,
LA,
right?
And I think Milwaukee on the way back. Hey, there's a single for Jason Worth. Actually, there will be another road trip before we go to the West Coast. That's at Philly-Cincinnati White Sox swing. So another month and a half or so before we see the Dodgers.
You know, watching Jason Worth for 6 years now, I saw his first time up. He had better balance on his takes. What's that mean? Well, he's been taking pitches and kind of his right leg's been coming all the way forward to the pitcher where he's out of whack. He was here early today. He set up a drill that he likes to do on the field to keep his hands inside the baseball. And, you know, line out the short his first time up, base hit second time up. Has better balance just in his stance and his setup and how he's taking pitches.
Danny Espinosa, bouncing ball to Chris Johnson right at the bag first time. We're going to show you our graphic again on upcoming ball games. We want to make sure that you make the right Masson channel choice tomorrow. So the 1 o'clock game is on Masson, the late game on Masson 2, as is Sunday's finale against the Marlins. Miami outfield about as straight away as you can be on a hitter. Target away, 0-1, counts even. Danny Espinosa came in to this one tonight, 7 for his last 20 over 5 games, but he's had problems with Kohler. 1 for 15 career with 7 strikeouts. Maybe he's due. This one popped up left side. Prado, this will be close. He's got enough room to make the catch. 2 outs. Another situation now where Jose Lobaton will try to get aboard with 2 down to get Gio to the plate. Prado stays home at third, even with the bag, but about 15 feet off the line. Another infielder slightly to pull.
Boy, Dan was doing his report. We had a good shot of Jose Lobaton talking to Rick Shue, and he was showing Rick how he wants to keep his hands inside the baseball, meaning keep your hands close to your body. Think about driving it to left center. We'll see if he does that right here. This Shoe man told me he looked like Mark McGuire today with his goatee.
2 men with immense power.
Yeah, exactly. Shoe could hit taters.
Yeah, he was a good hitter.
Full hitter all the way.
Okay, to our left, Jacque Jones, he could hack. Speed and power. The master of the leadoff homer. 3-1. That guy's not bad.
He's a good bunter. Good base hit bunter. Singles guy. Warning track power.
Well, they're pitching Jose Lobaton like he's Bryce Harper in the number 8 spot. Walking the catcher twice. And now Gio comes up, this time with a runner in scoring position. 5 walks by Tom Kohler.
And Gio has the hardest hit ball of the night.
He does.
He ain't gonna get a fastball this time. He better sit on a curveball.
He hit a 1-hopper. And where that ball hit the wall, it's about 385 feet away in left center.
Might get a fastball away, but he's not gonna get one to pull.
There's the curve.
There's Uncle Charlie. And after the last double, he went back into the dugout, found Jose Lobaton. Jose's like, I tried, bro. Seriously, I tried. That's as fast as I can go. Love it.
He's going to get his hacks. That was Gio Gonzalez's 5th career double. Has 3 home runs. Three-year home run streak came to an end last season.
Oh, check out the 2-strike approach. Bat on the shoulder, spread out. Stanton's playing shallow and right. No chance for Jason Worth to score to right. Maybe center, though.
One and two. Good eye. Making Kohler work. He's over 70 on his pitch count here in the 4th inning. Trying to turn this lineup over to the leadoff guy. That's a called strike on a fastball inside edge. Well, 86, he took a little bit off. Great location. So after 4, the Nats have now stranded 6 runners, still no score. And the 4th inning of Nationals baseball brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid all-wheel drive unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com tonight.
Is brought to you by Cox. New Contour. Get right to the good stuff. No score as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Gio Gonzalez has been nice. 51 pitches. And we're going to show you some strikeouts from Gio Gonzalez. The changeup has been fantastic tonight. That's a curveball to Giancarlo. Elevated fastball after a few changes to Chris Johnson. Fastball right there to Rojas. And got Christian Yelich with the changeup. So 5 strikeouts for Gio, 16 more to go. You can do it.
Well, this game's going to have to go into extra innings for that to happen, I do believe.
It's not mathematically possible?
Not right now.
Oh, well.
In a 9-inning game.
I'm just spoiled, I guess.
Ozuna, Chris Johnson, Echeverria, 5, 6, 7 here in the 5th. Ozuna, the most dangerous ball of the night, almost pinned Bryce Harper up against the bullpen fence.
It's almost like we're all more relaxed watching Gio pitch this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's taken us right with him on this thing.
And it's a good feeling. I mean, he's just so smooth and calm and focused. It all started with his first start of the year. Remember, we were having some fun with him in the clubhouse. When are you going to pitch? When are they going to let you play? Because they skipped his first start. But ever since that first start, just a different guy. Very, very smooth.
And then that 90 plays a lot harder because of his off-speed secondary pitch command. Yeah, he didn't start a game until April 12th against the Braves here. Nats won that game 2-1 as he tossed a 6-inning shutout on 3 hits. So when the bell rang, he was ready. 2-2 pitch.
Tried to go up there again. Good idea.
Chopper to third, foul.
Jose Lobaton model.
Put that on, you'll be a great framer immediately.
Absolutely. Oh, he just went Mark Fidderich. Did you see that? He's talking to the baseball. Gio.
That's a breaking ball in the dirt for the walk. Gio Gonzalez, after 5 strikeouts, first walk tonight.
Oh, I like this. Celebrate Max Scherzer's historic 20 strikeout game with $20 lower level tickets when the Nats take on the Marlins May 14th and 15th. Visit Nationals.com to purchase those tickets and use the coupon code 20 at checkout. So tomorrow and Sunday, right?
Yep.
$20 tickets in the lower level, courtesy of that dude. Well,
yeah,
sort of, you know.
And that at bat by McCann at the end of the game saved everybody a buck.
That's one way to look at it.
We would have gladly paid $21 for those seats.
Or that at bat by Jordan Zimmerman earlier in the game when he hit a one hopper to short.
There's Chris Johnson. Ozuna, by the way, after a long look at first, is 0 for 1. He's a fast young outfielder, but not really a base stealer yet. You can look at the outfield, especially Revere and Harper, and see how the Nats want to pitch Chris Johnson. That one's low and in, might set up something else, but they're around to the right some, and Bryce is only about 50, 60 feet off the right field line.
Well, Johnson's always been an inside-out guy, meaning he tries to hit the ball up the middle the other way. He'll pull a mistake off-speed pitch, but he likes to flip the ball to right.
Yeah, really did that well 3 years ago when he hit .321 for Atlanta. Beaten out for the batting championship by Michael Kadire. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reaching around to pull that one, and now he's behind in the count, 1-2. Free agent signing by the Marlins this past January after splitting last year with the Braves and the Indians. Gio slowing things down here with the leadoff man aboard. Another long look.
You know, we've had a lot of broadcasters ask us, why does Gio work so slow this year? And I said, well, it's just out of the stretch, and it's just because he's trying to hold runners, and that's kind of the pitcher he's become. He's trying to slow the game down. You know, at times it used to speed up on him, and this is his way of controlling what he can control.
Hasn't had the long inning yet. But this inning, 12 pitches already, nobody out. He'd love a ground ball. But the fastball is up and the count's 2-2. with some foul balls, and extended at bat here for Chris Johnson. Brought to you by Nissan. Funny spin off the bat on that breaking ball. Perfect night for baseball in DC.
It is.
Crowd waiting for some excitement here. A lot of base runners for the home team. There's the ground ball. Murphy boots it. Oh my. That was a tailor-made double play ball. And now it's 2 on, nobody out. Daniel Murphy's 3rd error.
Well, this is where Gio's going to have to use his mantra, feed the family, to calm down, because he's thinking 2 outs, nobody on. And this is where in the past we've seen him get a little bit excited out there when a play's not made behind him. And Daniel Murphy saying, hit me the next one. I want a ground ball right now. But I'm seeing, the more I see Daniel Murphy play second, when he gets in trouble, he sits on the ball. His feet stop moving. He was setting up early to feed that double play ball.
Echeverria ground ball to Espinoza first time. Danny hanging around near the runner, tapping his glove, now retreating to his position. And the curveball is in the dirt.
You know, how well the fields are manicured nowadays, especially at the major league level, that's an easy habit to get into for an infielder. You know, back in the day, infields weren't this nice. I mean, pretty much these guys play on Augusta every night. It's beautiful dirt, beautiful grass. So as an infielder with these great surfaces, you can get into some bad habits. Meaning before, when it was a little choppy, you had to keep your feet moving all the time. And now it's just like a carpet out there.
Daniel Murphy, 13 errors with the Mets last year, 18 a couple of years ago.
And he's been good so far, real good.
Yeah.
He's made pretty much every routine play. Hiccup here, hiccup there, but, you know, everybody has those.
Well, he'd be the first to tell you that was a play that has to be made. Now it's up to Gio with his defense to get out of it. And he misses with 90-08, 2-1.
See, that's the pitch right there that Jose Lobaton gets Gio Gonzalez, and that's where he gets into his comfort zone on a ball that's borderline. I don't know if this is a strike. I threw it. What am I going to get right here? Watch Lobaton. Boop. Frame it right in the seats, right on the corner. But the way Lobaton frames this, he takes a borderline pitch and presents it to Chris Guccione as a ball right down the middle.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss on a big curveball in the dirt. And that's a big first out with 8 and 9 now coming up. Number 6 for Gio.
So an error behind him, very calm, very cool, gets back in the strike zone, a big strikeout of a pretty good hitter. And yeah, it's going to cost him a few pitches, but he's trying to bail out Daniel Murphy right now.
Rojas, swinging strikeout victim first time. Time given on a long hold by Gio. Chris Johnson really spying the runner in front of him, Ozuna here. First and second, one out. But Murphy not that far from the bag, so Ozuna can't get too far toward third. He's got a curveball going to the right-handers tonight, too. Struck out Echeverria. Straight change there, 82. Close, and he didn't get the call.
Well, he's also done a nice job with the fastball in to make the Marlins hitters aware of that strike on the inner half. That was way off the plate. Jose Lobaton made it look better than it was. Let's see if it serves a purpose here, though. 2-1.
Murphy to his left. Only plays at first. Zimmerman and Gio got tangled up over there. And the Marlins take the lead. Now another runner goes to second as the second man tries to score, and he's safe. A Nationals defense seemingly in slow motion on that play. And the Marlins running all over the place with Ozuna and Johnson scoring.
Yeah, nobody went to get the baseball. Almost like it was a foul ball or the play was called dead. It was just sitting on the front step of the Nats dugout. Meanwhile, everyone hustled around the bases for the Marlins. So Zimmerman went for it. He couldn't get back. Gio Gonzalez is getting it. There's a communication problem when they both get to first. And Jose Lobaton has to stay home. And there's the ball sitting there. Marlins running everywhere. Lobaton can't go for it. He can't vacate home. Somebody's got to help him. Pretty close here at the end. I don't know if they're going to look at that.
Wow. Well, another error will have to be given, and they'll probably give it to Murphy on the throw, although it appeared Gio was late getting to first. So it's 2-0 Miami in rather shocking fashion, and a runner at second base, one out for Tom Koehler.
Yeah, shocking fashion because the Nats have played better defense than anybody in baseball this year. We're not used to seeing that.
Crowd kind of buzzing. And a moment ago, Rojas went screaming toward third and stopped, and I thought he had a pretty good jump. They give a hit on the play because Rojas was close to the bag when the throw got there, and then they have to give the error on the further advancement by the runners.
That's not a hit. That's the wrong call. There's no way that's a hit. A routine ground ball to second base is not a hit. Sorry.
Crazy.
And Daniel Murphy did the right thing. He threw it to the base. He did his job. He fielded the ground ball. He checked second. There was no play there. Decided to go to first base. He threw the ball right over the base where he's supposed to throw it. So maybe that's why they're giving it a hit, but I don't think you can give an error to Daniel Murphy. He did his job. There was just nobody there. He maybe give an error to Gio. I don't know.
Yeah, they've given both errors in this inning to Murphy. 2 balls, 1 strike to Tom Koehler. Can't reach it.
This is where I like the team error concept. You know, people talk about making a category for team errors when, say, guys are miscommunicating on a pop-up and it drops. You don't know who to give it to. You don't want to give a hit. That's kind of the same thing that just happened right there.
2-2 to Koehler. Oh, he's going to get punched out by David Rackley. Miami dugout doesn't like that one. It's a second out here.
So, routine ground ball. Daniel Murphy does his job. He picks it up, looks to second, knows that he has time. He was thinking about the spin move here. Couldn't get it out of his glove. Then sets himself and throws it right over the base. And I don't know if there was communication problem between Ryan Zimmerman and Gio Gonzalez, but he threw it where he was supposed to. He did nothing wrong on that play.
Top of the order now, JT Realmuto. Oh for 2 with a pop up to third, a ground ball to short.
And maybe the slow play or the slow tempo is affecting his infielders too. We always talk about always working fast. They're on their toes. They're making great plays. And we've mentioned why he has to work slow and how it's been successful for him. Maybe not so much for the guys behind him.
Yeah, as soon as Ozuna walked to lead off the inning, everything came to a grinding halt. Having said that, the double play should have happened. It didn't. Now here's another long hold and time called. Gio calling out Lobaton. Espinosa wants to know what's happening.
Well, they're going to switch up the signs, and the middle infielder has to know if you're going to switch the sequence, so he knows what pitches are coming. With a right-handed hitter up, the shortstop will let the third baseman know when off speed's coming, especially with a left-hander out there. So you look at the signs as a shortstop, and you give a little ch-ch to the third baseman whenever off speed's coming. You do it late. Kind of gets the third baseman on his toes to know that, hey, something slow's coming. The right-hander might pull it hard to you. So your job as a shortstop, when there's off speed, third baseman will tell you, hey, let me know when off speed's coming. So you look, you get the sequence. There's a changeup. Let the third baseman know a changeup's coming.
2-0. Up the middle, off Gio. Rendon gets it, keeps it on the infield. So the ball hitting Gio keeps the Marlins from scoring another run.
Anthony Rendon
hustling.
Diving for that ball kept the Marlins from scoring another run. That had left field written all over it. So nice swing by Realmuto, hits Gio in the shin, and then look at the effort by Rendon. That's a nice job of keeping Rojas at third base, because that could have got ugly. And now the trainer's out, everybody looking at Gio to make sure he's okay.
Bizarre fifth inning here. Not one ball has left the infield. And the Marlins lead 2-0, and here's Prado coming up with runners at first and third, 2 outs.
Yeah, right in the shin. Shinberger coming. Well, it is Friday the 13th. And this inning has kind of fit that.
Prado pinned Worth up against a left field wall last time. Fastball away.
I mean, all that said, they've scored 2 runs. The Nats have to figure out Tom Kohler. If Gio can keep this 2-0, the Nats have a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, and Kohler's at 72 pitches through 4 innings.
It's a sneaky MVP of the first month and a half of the season right there.
I just wonder if Gio, that shot he took might be worse than we think since Petit's warming up.
Well, it is. Would it get him in the right shin? It's his landing leg. I don't think it'll hurt for an inning or so, or at least it'll hurt worse, I should say.
3-1. It's a walk, and here comes Christian Yelich with the bases loaded. Gio's second walk of the inning.
You could almost see Danny Espinosa saying, come on, just make some pitches.
Yeah. Gio looked a little agitated there. It's just been one of those crazy frames.
Well, I mean, it's hard. It's easy to say up here it's going real fast for Gio down there, but if you get out of this bases loaded jam and it's 2-0, that's good damage control for all the weird stuff that's gone on behind you this inning. The crowd's starting to get into it. They're helping Gio along right now, but this probably is going to be Gio's last hitter.
Yelich base hit to right center, swinging strikeout, 1 for 2. Career 3 for 11 against Gio. Up the middle, Murphy to Zimmerman, inning over. 2 runs, neither earned, couple of hits, couple of errors, couple of walks. Could have been a lot worse. To you by T-Mobile. We check in around both leagues. as Nolan Arenado continues to just punish the baseball for those hard-hitting Rockies. 12 extra base hits this year with 2 outs. Chris Sale still sailing. He was 7-0 when we were in Chicago last weekend, so he's gone one better. And the Phillies, 12 wins in 1-run games. The Phillies are 20-15 on the year, a game ahead of these Marlins.
Yeah, Dusty was pumping Gio up between innings, and then watch the play by Daniel Murphy to end the inning.
Ryan Zimmerman just said, my fault. All right. Can't win if you don't score anyway, right? So here comes Revere, Rendon, and Harper.
There was a lot of pats on the back, shaking Gio's hand as far as way to get out of that with just 2 runs. Everybody feeling bad that Gio didn't have those plays made behind him, and that's part of baseball. I think Gio did a really nice job of damage control right there. And Danny Espinosa came over to Gio and pumped him up. Ryan Zimmerman patted him on the back. Dusty Baker was firing him up. Dusty asked him if he could still go, and Gio was like, yeah, I want to stay in this baseball game. So all stuff that we saw between innings, I think was really good stuff. Teammates picking each other up and knowing that Gio did a really good job of getting out of a nasty situation. Nux from Zim, pat on the back from Dusty. Danny Espinosa coming over.
And Ben Revere, 2-hopper to the second baseman. He's 1 for 3 tonight, 5th inning. Bottom half underway with Rendon and Harper next.
I mean, if you face 8 hitters in an inning and give up 2 runs, that's not the worst inning in the world.
Yeah.
We got music speakers. Saturday night, May 14th. First 25,000 fans will receive a Nationals music speaker presented by Coca-Cola. Visit nationals.com to purchase your ticket today.
I'm sorry, I just threw my speaker at FP.
That's okay. I wish you could have seen that at home. That was funny. I was handed a crumpled up piece of paper that I couldn't read.
Here's Rendon. A walk and a strikeout. Kohler turning that one over, down and in. Counts even, 1-1. Three hits tonight. Revere in the first. Gio a double in the second. And then Worth up the middle in the fourth. Tom Kohler might have figured out something against the Nats. You put this together with the last game he pitched against them. Not a ton of innings so far, but 9 innings, 1 run on 5 hits in his last 2 starts.
Well, how about his last start against the Phillies where he gave up just 2 hits and 1 run?
7 innings. He got roughed up before that against the Brewers in Milwaukee. He gave up 8 runs on 8 hits in 2 1/3. Took him 78 pitches to get 7 outs, and he bounced back big time against the Phils. Career record 28-38, 94th major league start. 1-2 to Rendon.
It's a good take. That was a strike for a while. Now these are hard takes. If you froze that halfway there, that looks like a strike to Anthony Rendon. And I think when you go back to Max Scherzer's 20 strikeout game, that's what he did so well that you don't see every single time. His slider was so quick and so late and looked like a fastball for so long and just was hanging a left right around the dirt. It was almost unhittable. I mean, the Tigers were seeing fastball until their swings were halfway done. It was almost like a true cutter at 86, 87 miles an hour and not the normal slider you see from Max.
Bryce Harper's been walked twice. Anthony Rendon has been struck out twice. That's number 4 for Kohler.
DC Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause, Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Nats hit 42 home runs this year, 5th most in the National League. Marlins have only given up 22. Now, part of that is their ballpark, and they're doing what they need to do at home. Only the Mets and the Marlins have given up as few as 22 home runs. Nats 27. So their pitching staff, not a great ERA, but they keep themselves in the game by keeping the ball in the yard. 4.12, Don Mattingly's staff ERA coming into tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. PNC inside the numbers. Primetime guys over the last 4+ years in the National League. The tail of the tape, if you will. Bryce hurt a couple of times, and for that matter, Giancarlo has been as well. So you want to see what kind of numbers these two guys can put up if they can stay healthy. Consecutive years and then start building from there. Bryce did that last year. That ball bounces. Counts even, 2-2.
It's funny, both of those guys we just showed, their seasons depend on the guys around them.
Yeah.
Giancarlo will never win an MVP until somebody's there to protect him on a daily basis. And he has a chance to win an MVP. Trust me, he's that kind of player.
Harper up the middle, beautiful stroke, base hit. Bryce on for the 3rd time. That .441 on base percentage is heading toward .460 right now.
I mean, it's news when he gets to swing now. Stayed on that curveball from Tom Kohler, nice. Stayed through it up the middle. Beautiful swing by Bryce Harper. Hit him where they ain't. See Larry Vanover scrambling to get out of the way of that.
27 years of that. Umpire moves to the inner infield position now for a possible turnaround and a call at second.
And this guy wants to tie the game up in the worst way right now, right here.
Well, Kohler hasn't enabled Murphy to hit the ball out of the infield yet. Pop up to the catcher, ground ball to first. Daniel has 22 RBIs. Went upstairs to get that one. And the count's even, 1-1. More of a vertical power zone for Daniel Murphy. So he's a left-handed batter who can go upstairs and get one. JT Realmuto's got some kind of hands behind home plate. Quelled a Nats rally in the first by throwing out Revere prior to 2 walks. We're at the end of the bat, up the line. Murphy's going to beat it out. Harper stops at second, and Daniel Murphy has his 53rd hit of the season.
Well, that's good for a number of reasons. Bryce Harper with the single, Daniel Murphy with the swing and bunt. He'll take the knock all the way. This gives Gio Gonzalez a chance to relax for a second. You know, this inning was going pretty quick. A couple of quick outs, and you're thinking, oh, Gio's got to go right back out there. But Daniel Murphy with the swing and bunt. Now the line moves to Ryan Zimmerman, who had a pretty good hack his last time up. Just hit it straight up the elevator shaft.
It was interesting by Kohler. Put the ball in his glove, still faked the throw, hoping he could get Bryce around second. Harper rounded the bag by about 5 feet and just stayed there. Another big spot for Ryan Zimmerman. 2 on, 2 out.
Ooh. It's a good rip.
Zimmerman against Kohler career, 6 for 22. 2 home runs, 3 batted in.
Got the rally lids on. I see red dudes, Nata dudes.
Boys night out.
Red people. Future Nats. That's all I
Might
got.
be the starting lineup all lined up there. Way outside to Zimmerman, 2-1. Inside edge. Kohler has gotten some strikes in there against the righties.
I think Ryan was expecting this to break the other way. This backed up. Saw the rotation, looking to the other side of the plate, and the slider just kind of backed up to the inside corner.
On the Mercedes-Benz pitch track. That's Brian Morris, their setup guy. One of their setup guys. 2-2 Kohler, as we told you earlier, a lot of pitches. That's number 99, but it's right at the second baseman. Rojas playing up the middle. Now the Nationals have stranded 8 base runners in 5 innings.
At Nationals Park, new pitching coach Mike Maddox had a tough task this spring as he tried to get an entire group of pitchers, get to know him and trust him. It takes time to build that confidence and earn that in your pitchers. And I was talking with Mike about that earlier today, and he said he has one motto. He kind of repeats himself. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. His goal this spring and throughout the early part of the season to show his pitchers that he cares and get to build those relationships because he knows they're going to count on him over the course of the season. They need to trust him.
Yeah, got to be tough to come into a staff that largely has been together for a while without him. Thank you, Dan, with a Coons.com sideline report. Giancarlo Stanton, top of the 6th, leading off. At Coons, over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
I like that saying. They don't care how much you know. They just want to know how much you care.
That ball is scorched so hard right through the shift. Jason Worth over to cut it off to keep Giancarlo Stanton to a single.
The scoreboard right now says 118 on the hit speed on that single.
Oh my.
118.
Be thankful it was on the ground.
That was loud.
I mean, that's a shift, and nobody barely had to move. It was gone. 6'6", 240. Giancarlo Stanton. Marcell Ozuna 0 for 1. He drew that damaging walk leading off last inning that got the snowball rolling that was hard to stop. Fastball crackles into the inside half. 1-1.
What's Gio's run support been like this year? I feel like he's that guy on the staff.
I'm looking at if I got all these letters right on the stat sheet. Is it 3.65?
That sounds about right. You know, every rotation has a guy that doesn't get a lot of run support, and I feel like Gio's kind of worn it this year more than the other 4 guys.
15 runs total in his first 6 starts. Two 2-1 pitch. That is just foul.
Clearly foul.
They're both at 99. Gio threw 39 pitches in that 5th inning. He was cruising along at about 10 pitches per. This ball flared to center. Murphy can't get to it. Stanton stops at second.
Strong man hit this ball. I mean, right off the handle. And for it to carry that much over Daniel Murphy's head, you got to be strong.
Now Ozuna, that's a 12-game hitting streak for him now. So Gio's at 100 pitches. The hitter is Chris Johnson, who hit the double play ball, the would-be double play ball, to Daniel Murphy last inning.
The bat went to the wrong dugout. What are we doing here?
Looks like it.
Bat boy. Well, the bat died a hero. He's not going to want that one again unless he's going to keep it for a souvenir or something.
Yeah. Home team gets to make decisions on rainouts, but not where bats go, evidently.
Well, back in the day, there was a lot of guys that would have been panicking about that. I don't think they cork bats much more.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that going to the other dugout, would you?
Back in the day, there were guys that have a small coronary on first base going, oh, no, that's got to go in the other dugout. There's a big hole drilled right down the barrel with lots of wine cork in it. But the maple bats they use nowadays, there's no need to. They're so hard, the ball jumps off them.
Is that a swing? It is on the appeal. David Rackley says yes. So it's strike 2 to Johnson.
Yeah, he went.
Oh, and 2. Mets are underway at Colorado. Matt Harvey tonight. No score early.
Ooh, we have to keep an eye on that. I didn't know they were playing there. The Rockies have done research on teams that go in there and how long it takes them to recover from altitude. And that's who the Nats play next.
Oh, you mean the series after, huh?
Yeah, the series after, because you get used to playing at a mile high. Your body doesn't recover as well, and they've kept stats on their pitchers and visiting pitchers after they leave Coors Field, and the effect the next start it has on them is usually not good.
Yeah, the Mets probably have Monday off like the Nats have, and they may need that day.
See, I'm always looking for an edge.
Well, you went from court to altitude. That was an interesting transition. Good block by Jose Lobaton on a pitch down and in, 2-2. Two nothing. Marlins here in the 6th. They've been a handful for the Nats this year. Split the first home series. There was a rainout in there. Split a 4-game series in Miami when the Nats won 2 of the first 3 and had Max Scherzer going. And now they're ahead tonight. Up the middle, Gio couldn't get a piece of it. Espinosa, great play to corral it, keeping it on the infield. Bases loaded, nobody out. I didn't think anybody was going to get to that ball, and Danny Espinosa was fantastic there.
Boy, he did a nice job of keeping this a 2-0 game. I mean, that was right next to the bag. He had a long way to go. It was hit well, and he sells out to keep everybody, well, at least Stanton, from scoring. And I think that's going to do it for Gio.
Well, that 5th inning took a lot out of him. He had a chance for a 1-2-3 inning. 39 pitches later, and now 3 singles in the 6th, and he's done for the night. And I think the fans will greet him warmly because they know he had to battle through a very difficult middle inning situation or 2 here. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by the UPS Store. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. Visit the UPSstore.com for locations. 106 pitches, 65 strikes. United telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Well, Gio Dunn, after 106 pitches, 5+ innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs given up yet. Petit, 8th appearance of the year, 1.93 ERA. Adeiny Hechavarria, by the way, 0 for 7 against him. '86 cutting away from the right-handed batter.
A fastball, slider, curveball, change. He'll cut the fastball, sink it, throw it 4 seams. Guy that very familiar with the strike zone. Good tempo, works quick, throws strikes.
Right on the edge.
Shaves off corners.
Giancarlo Stanton, 118 mph single to lead off the inning. And then Ozuna dropped that other ball right over Murphy's glove. And then Chris Johnson right over the mound. Espinosa kept it on the infield. So the runners third, second, and first. Nobody out. Hechavarria 0 for 2 tonight. Dusty Baker, after 4 innings, thought the last thing he'd be doing was going out to get Gio in the 6th. He was poised for a long night out there, pitching deep into the game. Now it's up to the bullpen to keep it close. And the 0-2 looked like a swing. It is a swing, as Hechavarria kept swinging as Petit took him seemingly up further and further outside on every pitch.
That's what he did. And then he ended it with a little slider away. So he was teasing the outside corner of the plate with the fastballs. And right when Hechavarria thought, oh, here comes another fastball away, look what he does. Just expands away. He can't stop his swing. He was convinced that he'd see another fastball in the outer third. That was a beautiful sequence, set him up perfectly. And now he's a ground ball away from getting out of this thing.
They're going to call on their left-handed hitting infielder, Derek Dietrich. When the Marlins face right-handed pitching, he's their leadoff guy. With D. Gordon hurt, and here he is to pinch hit.
Perez is loose.
Do you want to have a guy pitch to one batter this early in the game? I guess that's a thought Dusty has to have here. Dietrich, 2 for 4 against Yusmeiro Petit with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Stall piece here?
I don't think so. I don't see Dusty lurking in the steps. Well, here he comes. Yeah, lefties are hitting 267 against Petit. So yeah, he's going with the lefty. Making sure that he's announced. Did you see him point to the umpire? Right. Making sure that the hitter was announced, and he is going to the left-hander.
So Yusmeiro Petit doesn't make many situational appearances, but this situation called for just that. Scherzer's first no-hitter with the first of 2 no-hitter bobbleheads presented by PNC Bank on May 23rd. First 25,000 fans receive piece number 1 of this set when the Nats take on the rival New York Mets. Visit nationals.com/tickets. Well, next month it'll be a year. Oliver Perez, 13th appearance for the Nats. And Derek Dietrich 0 for 1 career against him.
Check out what lefties are hitting against Oliver Perez this year. 0.67. I guess the one thing you'd worry about right here is the last couple times out, Oliver Perez has had some trouble throwing strikes, but Dusty Baker going with a left-on-left matchup, and it's the right move for sure.
Yeah, it didn't look to me like Dietrich would have minded had that breaking ball hit him. Target away now. That one cuts outside, 2-0. Dietrich is having a good year, getting a lot of playing time with D. Gordon Hurd hitting .319. He gets the heater and it's in there. Hot shot. Espinosa to the bag, and that is a 6-3 inning-ending double play.
How about that?
Petit strikes out Echeverria. Perez gets Dietrich on the double play. And you might say this could be a brand new ball game.
I mean, tailor-made, right? Nicely done, Oliver Perez. Nicely done, bullpen once again. Gio's got to be happy. Coming up in the 5th inning, the Marlins scoring just 2 runs, and then having bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th. Dusty Baker working his magic. He goes and gets Gio Gonzalez, a strikeout to Echeverria, then brings in Oliver Perez, and a tailor-made 6-3 unassisted double play, and the Nats come out of that smelling like a rose. So damage control's been the theme of this game, and when you're playing as well as the Nats are, you're thinking, okay, we got to find a way to win this one. And Gio, hugging Jose Lobaton, those were his runs out there.
Yeah, 3 Ernies on the bases, and none of them came in.
I mean, you have to believe that momentum's in the first base dugout after that. I mean, that just doesn't happen too often at the major league level. Bases loaded, nobody out, and you don't score.
Derek Dietrich stays into play second. Jason Worth pops it up right side. First pitch of the bottom of the 6th. And that's pitch number 100 for Tom Kohler. Nats, you could call this a letting him off the hook evening so far. Rivera base hit, caught stealing, first inning. Gio a double, Lobaton thrown out at home, second inning. Third inning hit from Jason Worth. Fourth inning hits Harper and Murphy. 8 stranded so far. Espinosa, 2 balls on the infield, 0 for 2.
Did he cross him up right there with nobody on? That was a strike. It looked like Real Muto was looking for a fastball, and the curveball.
And you're not going to get a call when you don't catch it usually,
Yeah,
right?
I thought it was close.
That's a heater in there. Counts 1-1.
Look at the first pitch, right down the middle.
Count 2-1 now. Mets have 2 runs at Colorado against that high-powered Rockies offense, though. Espinosa scorches one foul.
Tough play to the backhand side. That ball was going 97 miles an hour. It's good effort, though. 97. Nice try.
Espinosa in the air to center, sending Ozuna back, puts on the brakes at the edge of the track, 2 outs. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. So Trey Turner, we knew he wasn't going to hit 360 all spring, but he's at 310 at Syracuse. 40 hits. Look at the extra base hits. Using his speed, Turner the burner getting it done for the Syracuse Chiefs. Brought to you by PNC. All right, Jose Lobaton, 3rd time up tonight. Trying to get it down to the pitcher spot. Nobody on deck at the moment. And he will do just that as he dumps one down the left field line. Going to make the turn and stop. Lobaton on base for the 3rd time.
But that's the swing I was talking about when he was talking to Rick Shue. His hands inside the baseball, trying to go the other way, forcing it to left. You see his hands close to his body? Foot down early. Yeah, he didn't hit the cover off the ball, but that's a pretty swing. Placed perfectly, nicely done. Like you said, Carp on base 3 times tonight, doing his job.
Stephen Drew will be the pinch hitter here. So Petit came in, 5 pitches, 5 strikes, strikeout. Perez came in, 4 pitches, 2 strikes, double play. And now Drew, 0 for 3 career against Kohler, will be the pinch hitter.
Don Mattingly going out to the mound. Is this it for Tom Kohler? Hey, that's a win for the Nats if his night is done.
Well, it's over 100 pitches, and Brian Morris is up for the 2nd time. I tell you, look at the recent moves in this game. Feels like it's the 8th inning, not the 6th.
I think he's just talking to him. He hasn't motioned to the bullpen. How do you feel? What do you want to do with Drew? And he's going to the bullpen. That's it.
We'll check the matchup numbers between Drew and right-hander Brian Morris. 2-0 Marlins. On Masson, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. And by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. Busy night on the concourse. A lot of great food choices, beverage choices here at Nationals Park, and Tom Kohler still could be the winner. He can't lose the game. We'll see if the Nats can get Gio off the hook, as Stephen Drew will bat for the first time against right-hander Brian Morris.
And fastball 93, slider 82. He'll cut the fastball, and actually lefties not doing as well as righties against him.
Stephen Drew takes one in there.
Lefties batting average ball in play against Morris is 143. Righties are 320. So maybe that's why Don Manley brought in a righty to face a lefty.
Drew's first at bat since that laser to dead center that was caught in that frustrating 5-4 loss to the Tigers on Tuesday night. He's had some good swings lately. Still looking for his first pinch hit as a Nat. Some heat from the Miami dugout for Chris Guccione. Outside, 2-1. And Drew to right field. See you later. Gio is off the hook, and this game is tied. How about the double play to end the top of the inning? And now a home run in the bottom, and it is a brand new ballgame.
Well, you just felt the momentum shift in the top of the 6th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Yusmeiro Petit comes in and gets a big strikeout. Oliver Perez gets a big double play. And then Jose Lobaton with a blooper to left, and you're thinking, okay, Stephen Drew run into one, and he does. My goodness.
Second home run as a National, doubles his RBI total. And for the Washington Nationals, that's their 5th pinch hit home run already this year. 5.
I'm telling you, Dusty Baker plays his bench guys. So when he asks them to do this, they do. They have timing. They have rhythm. They've played a few games here and there. It's not like they've rotted on the end of the bench for 10 days and you're getting production out of your bench because of all the playing time he's given to the extras.
Ben Revere, bouncer over the mound, getting behind to Dietrich. Out as Revere comes sliding in. Now everybody looking toward the Nats dugout to see if this inning is over.
Safe. Dusty saying, hold on, they're checking in the clubhouse right now. I thought he was safe. Morris still arguing about that second strike he thought to Stephen Drew. You heard the chirping from the Marlins dugout. He's still worried about that. Maybe that's why he gave up the home run. And let's see. Oh, that's close.
That's close.
Oh, my goodness, that's close.
Oh, and they called him out. So can there be indisputable evidence? The Nats are going to challenge here.
I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. That was a violent slide into first base. He actually propelled his body forward and didn't slide. That was a dive into first. Morris is still arguing with home plate umpire Chris Guccione. They're going at it right in the middle of the field. I don't know. I have no idea on this one.
Yeah, and the crowd really doesn't know how to react to that.
Ben's looking, Davey Lopes is looking.
Headsets are coming off fast, and he is out. So the Nats are out of challenges, but they're back in the ball game on a 2-run homer off the bench by Stephen Drew to tie things at 2 into the 7th.
Learning this role, this is new to him, this whole pinch hitting thing. He's used to being an everyday player every stop he's been to, so getting adjusted, got a fastball up. Maybe Morris still thinking about that borderline call. And Stephen Drew takes advantage of an elevated fastball, and it had the sound. And look at Lobato. Did you see Jose Lobato? I just saw that right there. He had both arms out as soon as he hit it. Stephen Drew tying this one up.
Catchers know that sound, don't they?
They do. Look at these guys. Think they liked it? Woohoo!
Ichiro Suzuki against Blake Trinan. Top of the 7th in the number 9 spot here.
Dusty's making all the right moves tonight. Goes to the bullpen, they get out of it. He throws Stephen Drew up there, he ties it. The horseshoe.
Ichiro against Trinan for the first time. And for Blake, appearance number 17. Trying to get that ERA down. Lefties have hurt him.
There's no substitute for feel. There's no substitute for experience, and Dusty Baker has both. And maybe one of the best I've ever seen at having just a feel for his players and a feel for the moment.
Right side, Murphy on the charge with a one-hand scoop. Ichiro still on 2,948 big league hits. Our friends, the Potomac Nationals, will be back in town. Still going to be about a week and a half away. They are way out. Highlights include a Lucas Giolito t-shirt giveaway on the 27th. Bryce Harper MVP bobblehead 28th. Bark in the Park 29th. 703-590-2311, and we are told tickets are going fast.
Super fast.
Top of the order, JT Real Muto. 0 for 3 career against Blake Trinan. 1 for 3 tonight with that base hit off of Gio 2 innings ago. Ball was hard hit.
Oh.
Hard sinking action.
What might be the understatement of the year by you on that pitch?
If I'm Real Muto, I'm glad I swung and missed it that.
Yeah, that would have been on his knuckles. I mean,
and maybe his ankle.
And no offense, he's a hot hitter and he can hit, but that was dirty.
Look at that action on 96. This young man has some kind of arm, constantly trying to harness this stuff.
He will. Those are strikes when he started his swing. Throw it again.
They go with the slider. It's chopped off the plate. Lobaton grabs it, knowing that's a hit if it's fair. Off the glove of Espinoza. Blake Treinen did not throw another fastball after he got it to strike two. And a base hit, 1 on, 1 out.
JT Realmutos, thank you very much for throwing me that slider. He didn't want to hit that sinker.
Yeah. Martin Prado next. Prado 0 for 3 career against Blake Treinen. Chopper, third base side. Rendon on the charge with the glove, able to make the exchange, and a throw that stretched Zimmerman, but well played at both ends. 2 outs.
Well, productive out for the Marlins in a tie ball game. Now JT Realmuto moves to second base, and you're wondering, is this going to be fair or foul? Initially, but it's clearly fair. Nice play by Anthony Rendon. Nice stretch by Ryan Zimmerman. That's as far as he could go. And do you play matchups here and go right on right with Giancarlo Stanton? Or do you go after Christian Yelich? Blake Treinen has had his way with righties this year. Let's see what Dusty Baker decides to do.
Yeah. Christian Yelich, 1 for 1 career against Treinen. If he throws that sinker like he did to the right-hander Realmuto, he could get ahead here. Throws the slider. Looked like a really good pitch, and he didn't get a call. Two ball game, top of the 7th. Important for the Nats bullpen to get that shutdown inning after Drew's homer tied it. There's the fastball in there. Runner going from second. Rendon never went to the bag with the runner. So a steal of third by Realmuto. The count goes to 1-2. Realmuto with his second stolen base of the year.
Good ball game here tonight, huh?
It is now. Foul tip, inning over. Bullpen shining in DC tonight. 7th inning stretch coming. Also, Rendon, Harper, and Murphy. Man, look at that funnel cake. Powdered sugar. Take one bite of that and I can't guarantee you won't cough. That'll feed both of them. We're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. And don't forget, when the game's over, Johnny and Ray here in the ballpark. It's our Nats Extra postgame show presented by W.B. Mason. Ooh, bud. Right-hander Kyle Bearclaw.
So funnel cake makes you cough?
If you get too much of that powdered sugar down your throat.
All right.
Believe me, this is experience talking.
Yeah, but that's not the first thing that came to my mind.
You can get by that.
Just
you're in for a treat.
Hacking up funnel cake all over people?
It's been known to happen.
That just sounds dangerous to me. Does it come with a Heimlich?
It's delightfully dangerous. Here's Anthony Rendon. 0 for 3 against Bearclaw career.
Good fastball, averages 95. Slider change to go with it.
There's that heater. Anthony tonight 0 for 2, a no contact night with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Bearclaw, 25 years of age, from Wilcox High School, Santa Clara. Pitched at St. Mary's of California. Originally drafted by St. Louis. And this is the right-hander the Marlins got when they traded Steve Cishek, their closer, to St. Louis during a pennant race last July. 1-2 pitch. Close.
Little backup slider from Bearclaw. He was walking off the mound like he thought it was strike 3. Pretty close pitch.
2-2 now. Rendon takes one on the other side that misses. Trying to get aboard here in the 7th for Bryce Harper.
No lefties in the Marlins bullpen. I think we said that earlier.
That?
That'd be tough to manage without one lefty in your bullpen, I feel like. Especially in this division with so many good left-handed hitters.
Yeah, makes it easier on the other manager, obviously. Nats have one left-handed pinch hitter left, of course, and Clint Robinson. First one did okay. Anthony Rendon, and that was close. He's aboard, and Bearclaw will be off the stretch for Bryce Harper. That's the 6th walk issued by the Marlins tonight.
He's asking his catcher, he said, JT, was that out? Sometimes catchers have little sneaky signs to their skipper that'll tell them it's a strike, so they don't even have to yell it out there. This will be a fun matchup, 96-98 versus Bryce Harper. Here we go.
Yeah, Bryce is 1-for-1 career against him with a 2-run homer. And he was geared up to make it 4-2 right there.
Love this song. I love when somebody's throwing 98 to Bryce and they play it. Is that from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Clint Eastwood movie? I think it is. High Plains drifter, maybe.
Too Western to be Dirty Harry. So he dropped the slider in there. Bryce tonight, 2 walks, a base hit. Bearclaw 17 strikeouts, 6 walks this year in just over 11 innings.
This guy's got future closer potential.
Oh, yeah. Harper watches that one skip in the dirt.
Might have been a changeup at 91. Now where do you get 3-2? And if you're Dusty Baker, do you think about starting Anthony Rendon?
Daniel Murphy working on another multi-hit game. 3-2, nobody out. Rendon running, great jump. Harper, there it goes, right field. See you later. First home run in a week and a half. And number 11 puts the Nationals on top, 4-2.
Clutch.
And by the way, that's 2 for 2 against this pitcher with a pair of 2-run homers.
That makes baseball fun again, I feel like.
Yeah, that's more fun than watching Bryce take off a shin guard and trot down to first base.
Yeah, but that just bought him a whole mess of walks in a doubleheader tomorrow. But first things first, he put his team up by 2. And that was a good battle between Bearclaw and Bryce Harper. He chose the off-speed 3-2, and he left it right out over the plate. He caught it out front. And give Anthony Rendon credit for taking that close 3-2 pitch to set that up.
Yeah.
Well, they would have pitched to Bryce anyways. Well, maybe they wouldn't have. They had to because of the walk. What am I talking about? Clean it up. There's the home run. And look at Bearclaw's reaction. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? He hopped off the mound. He knew as soon as he hit it. And these kids down, what are they, in the right field corner having a blast? That's my man. That's Bryce.
That's what they came to see. They didn't come to see him walk.
You know what? That's a great point by you.
Fans come to the ballpark to see certain guys play and swing the bat.
Managers get fired if they lose. So
I know. It's a battle for everybody's survival. Swing and a miss. Murphy as Bearclaw drills one by him. 1 out, bottom of the 7th.
It's back to my point that you have to have a lefty in your bullpen. Not that a lefty would have gotten Bryce Harper out or he wouldn't hit that home run, but I feel like Don Mattingly's handcuffed big time facing a guy like Bryce Harper without a lefty in a tie ball game in the bottom of the 7th. I'm sure his righties that he has down there have good numbers against lefties, but it's just not the same.
Well, and the last time the Nats played the Marlins, they had 2 lefties, Craig Breslow and Chris Narveson. Narveson got hammered as part of that 4-home run 7th inning. This one's over by the tarp and out of play off the bat of Ryan Zimmerman. But I mean, you have to have, and they had Brett Ober. Well, that was the Phillies series before that. Phillies had 3 lefties before the Nats went to Miami, but you got to have some depth in your organization and have a lefty or 2. Zimmerman takes that one on the inside edge.
I mean, it's all Bryce Harper needed was for that sawed-off cigar in the corner of his mouth for that gunfight he just had with Barraclough. That was fun to watch.
Yeah. One guy's riding out of town, the other one is boots up right now.
I got to get beat with 98. I do. Sorry. I mean, second guessing all the way. I mean, maybe he didn't even want to throw that for a strike.
0-2 Zimmerman, and that's right in there. Ryan couldn't react to the slider. 2 outs. Walk homer, strikeout in this 7th inning. Come out to the ballpark. This weekend, Nationals celebrate all forms of youth baseball and softball. Just go to the website, nationals.com/tickets, find out about it. And you can also, as FP mentioned earlier, in celebration of Max's 20 strikeouts 2 nights ago, get some really good seats for the doubleheader tomorrow for $20 a pop. First game at 1, Strasburg. Second game at 7, Roark.
It's supposed to be 75 tomorrow.
How about the rain, Eddie?
It's supposed to be 75 tomorrow.
That answers that question. Jason Worth 1 for 3 tonight, and Worth 1 walk against Barraclough. Countsville with Danny Espinosa next. I knew the Rockies would do it. They battled back with 2 runs. It's a 2-2 game with the Mets. Bottom of the 4th at Coors Field.
That one's going to end 15-14.
I was going to say, not predicting a 3-2 final there. Breaking ball. Jason Worth couldn't react. So the walk to Rendon big. The homer by Harper, huge. And this ball game's going to the top of the 8th. National bullpen's been fantastic so far. Bryce got him. That's number 11. RBI total up to 29.
promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. We're going back to the 6th inning. We're giving it to the Nats bullpen. Bases loaded, nobody out. Yusmeiro Petit comes in, does a masterful job with Echeverria, and then Oliver Perez, no big deal. Bases loaded, 1 out. I'll get a little 6-3 double play. And you get out of that jam. Give Gio Gonzalez a lot of credit when all heck was breaking loose behind him in the 5th inning, getting Christian Yelich to ground out with the bases loaded. So calm Gio, where maybe that situation a couple years ago would have been 5-6 runs, kept it at 2. The bullpen picked them up. The offense picked everybody up. And so far it's been a team effort, 6 outs to get.
Treinen to Stanton as Blake goes out for another inning. Giancarlo 0 for 2 against him with 2 strikeouts. Blake has walked him twice. Stanton base hit through the shift last time. Rendon, Espinosa, Murphy all gathered on the left side of the infield again. Zimmerman 30 feet off the line at first. And a fly ball to right. Bryce Harper going back. Off the wall, off his glove. Stanton into second. Maybe thought he had a home run. Don't know how hard he was running to first. And he's aboard leading off the 8th.
Boy, it just looks like a shank pop-up, and it goes halfway up the wall in right field. Bryce kind of stuck his glove into the wall, and the ball bounces off his glove and the wall at the same time, but I did not think that was going that far. Large man hit that ball.
Bunch of right-handers this inning. For the Marlins, next one is Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, a lot like Barraclough. Make him hit your sinker. It's working well tonight. 95, 97, a lot of run on it.
Ozuna. Long fly ball to Harper in the 2nd. Walk and a run in the 5th. Bloop, base hit. Just before they loaded the bases in the 6th. And a chopper that'll advance the runner. Espinosa comes in and grabs it and gets that all-important first out.
Tricky little hop, nice play.
Ozuna now 1 for 9 career against Blake Treinen. Next up, Chris Johnson, who's 0 for 6 against him. Johnson tonight 1 for 3.
Jonathan Papelbon's got his weighted medicine balls. Get loose. You know what would help Blake against lefties is a nasty cutter, if he ever developed one.
They able to jam him with that pitch?
Yeah. Yeah, just a nasty cutter I think would help.
Chainsaw his way through lineups. There's a slider. Hit to third. Rendon's going to ignore the runner who scores. Throws on to Zimmerman. Now it's a 4-3 game. So the Marlins manufacture a run here. It's only Chris Johnson's 3rd RBI of the year. And the hitter will be Adeiny Hechavarria with 2 outs. Hechavarria 0 for 3. He was the hitter. Petit struck out.
See, that's the pitch right there. In the guy's terminology nowadays, they call that letting it eat. I mean, that sinker's 95 miles an hour. Let that thing eat. Let it go boring in on right-handers. It's hard to keep that thing fair, especially with the velocity he has. It's tough to square it up if you're right-handed.
And the 0-1. Jammed him. Rendon. Still time. Never panicked. Inning over. 3 ground balls to the left side, and Blake Treinen pitches 2 innings and gets 6 important outs.
It's time for Yellowwood bringing the lumber. And how about Stephen Drew off the bench? Dusty Baker sends him up there in a big situation. Jose Lobaton with the single to left, and then Stephen Drew with his game-tying home run. A big fly to right field, got the crowd going. They've been waiting to cheer for something all night long. Smiles everywhere in the first base dugout. Another pinch hit tater for the Nats.
5 of them this year. And then Bryce Harper did his thing. The Nats on top 4-2. Then it's 4-3 going to the bottom of the 8th. Dustin McGowan, 34 years of age. Picked up as a free agent by the Marlins December 1st. "14 games, 1 start with the Phillies last year. Most of his big league career with Toronto. Danny Espinosa, 0 for 1 career against this right-hander.
Yeah, let's see a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, slider, and a change to complement it.
Yeah, some movement on that heater.
I mean, do you think Bryce is going to get anything to hit tomorrow after that?
If I was him and he walked 4 times in the first game, I might tell him, call the commissioner and say, sit me out tonight.
It should count as a suspended game if he walks 4 times.
I think he already had one in the bank from being walked 6 times.
Yeah.
They don't pitch to you. You put it in the bank, and if you get suspended, you can use it. 1-1.
Speaking of that game, I heard Brian Kinney on MLB Network the other day. He had a great point. He was saying everybody refers to that game as 0 for 0, when in reality Bryce Harper was 7 for 7. The object of the game is to get on base and score runs. Yeah. And because of like 1900s terminology, we're saying it's 0 for 0, when in reality he was 7 for 7 that day.
Yeah, it wasn't an 0 for, that's for sure.
I mean, that's just the way that I think the modern baseball fan and the game has to think about that day. He was on base 7 times, and that's the name of the game.
Swing and a miss. That Looked like a slider diving down and in on Danny Espinosa. Marlins relievers have struck out 4 in a row since the Harper home run. Lobaton next, and then you would think Clint Robinson to set things up for Jonathan Papelbon. Although Felipe Rivero is up and throwing, but the Marlins only have one left-handed pinch hitter remaining, Justin Bour, but the number 9 spot is due up second. Well, even though there's a right-hander, Chris Heisey's on deck.
There's Chris, and while I remember, I have to wish my mother a happy birthday today. She's 70 years old. Giannina Santangelo, is that Italian?
Is that enough syllables?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
70 years old today. 70 years young, I should say. She's still riding her bike 20 to 30 miles a day, 5 days a week.
So she's covering more miles than you are, even though yours are on foot.
Yes.
Jose Lobaton, first time against McGowan.
She's not hearing me either because she's knee deep in slot machines right now.
Well, that's better than up to your neck in slot machines. That means it's not a very good night.
Well, it might be. We'll see.
First you reveal her age, then you tell everybody she's gambled.
She's 70 and she's a young 70. So
Right.
I appreciate that.
Lobaton on base 3 times. The important base hit in front of the Drew homer 2 innings ago. I mean, if Jose doesn't get on, that inning is over. So talk about some 2-out stuff. And then for Bryce, an 0-2 count before he battled back full to leave the yard with his drive to right. One-two pitch.
And his reaction when Bryce hit the home run on first base was just, we love watching Jose Lobaton play. You talk about baseball fun again. I think it was when Stephen Drew hit the home run, but he was going crazy at first base. And I'll look at Bryce's home run all day. I love to watch him hit taters.
Yeah, and Rendon had a tremendous jump on that. 2-2. 1 out. And Lobaton blown away by 96. I tell you, these Marlins have some arms. Coming out of that bullpen, it'll be Chris Heisey now with 2 outs.
And he's got a pinch hit homer, a pinch hit walk-off homer. All right, we got to watch Jose Lobaton, bottom of the screen. Just watch him. Don't watch the home run. Watch Loby. Wee!
Out of here.
Tie game, and I'm flying around the bases. Love it.
Heisey has 2 pinch hits, both of them home runs. 2 for 8. First at bat against McGowan.
As a bench guy, when you sit around for 7 days and don't play, you could go up against a guy throwing 92 and it looks like 192. And the reason Dusty's had success with his bench this year is because on Sunday day games, whatever, he's playing his bench guys. They're seeing velocity. Their eyes are trained to see velocity. And then when they go up in these situations, they usually have decent at-bats.
Heisey, high and deep to left. See you later. He has 3 pinch homers. The Nats have 2 tonight and 6 on the year. And they have their 2-run lead back.
Kind of like that. Tell you what, Chris Heisey's turned out to be one of the most valuable guys the Nats have had in a long time on their bench. In a long time. Since I've been here, at least. He's right up there in Chad Tracyville at this point.
2 pinch homers in successive at-bats for the Nationals here. Here's Revere. He goes up, and it's a swing and a miss.
And I just noticed something that I hadn't noticed before. He has got a nice home run trot. Fast, confident,
Like I've done this before.
And I'm going to do it again.
How about 3 extra base hits from the 9-hole tonight? Gio a double. Then the pinch hitters, home runs. Ben Revere 1 for 5 tonight. 4 straight grounders to second. And now, at least the closer has a bit of a cushion. The Nats using the long ball tonight, leading 5-3. 3 outs to get for a good start to the weekend. Chris Heisey, 3rd pinch hit, home run.
This, didn't you? Let's go back to Wednesday. Toyota case for kids. 37 times 20 is 740, I'm told. I wouldn't know that on my own. No shot. But here they are. And we can't do the Count Chocula thing, or there's no way. It just takes too long. $740 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by Max Scherzer that game. How about that? Well, 37 times 20.
Well, percentage move by Dusty Baker here. Felipe Rivero starts the ninth because Derek Dietrich is the first batter. Looks like they'll bat Cole Gillespie, who just rejoined them. Oh my goodness, that is up and in, and that had a bad sound. Bouncing up, getting his helmet, Dietrich runs to first. And now that might change everything Dusty was trying to accomplish here in the ninth with Rivero.
Where'd that get him? The right lat, maybe?
Yeah, it looked like shoulder.
Well, that's the way you get out of the way. Got him in the arm. I think Don Mattingly's scared to hit him in the head.
Boy, it sure had a sound to it.
It did.
So right now, who does Dusty Baker like best? Rivero against Gillespie or Papelbon against Justin Bour, who is 1 for 6 against Papelbon? So the crowd gives Derek Dietrich a nice hand.
So this is the way to get out of the way for you younger players. Look at him just turn his back, get his head out of the way. And he's a tough dude. He's okay at first base.
Cole Gillespie has faced Felipe Rivero before, 0 for 2. Gillespie, 31-year-old outfielder, big league time with Arizona, the Giants, Cubs, Mariners, Blue Jays before Miami picked him up. Last November actually a year ago November, is a minor league free agent.
Good changeup.
And it's 0-2.
I mean, what Dusty's doing right here with Felipe Rivero is big news. I mean, don't sleep on the fact that he put his lefty out in a save situation. Jonathan Papelbon's more than rested. And he's showing huge confidence in his left-hander. I mean, this is a big deal.
That's a pretty big deal. 1 out. He went soft on 0-2 and got the strikeout. So here comes Dusty with Real Muto and Prado coming up, 2 right-handed batters to go to Jonathan Papelbon. 1-run game, 2 outs to get.
Runner on first base, Jonathan Papelbon on top of the 9th inning. It's time for a little Kia in the driver's seat. We're going to show you Bryce Harper on a 3-2 slider, it looks like. Goes deep. That put the Nats up 4-2. The Marlins would score a run to make it 4-3, and then nice play, by the way. Chris Izey, it's all he does is hit taters. There's another one. Take a full hack in a phone booth, his swing so short.
Chris Izey, 14 pinch hit home runs since he came to the big leagues in 2010. 14!
He has got mad pop. That's not easy.
Jonathan Papelbon against JT Real Muto. 2 for 4 against him with a home run. Fastball just missing.
I don't know that Jonathan Papelbon is used to not starting a clean 9th inning. Yeah, I wonder how many times.
Other closers don't like it.
Yeah, other than coming in for a starter that maybe ran out of gas and was trying to smell the finish line, I wonder how many times this has happened in his career. I can't imagine it's much.
But I think the key to this whole thing was Dusty liked Rivero and Gillespie better than Papelbon against the home run guy, Justin Bour.
And I agree with you 100%, Carp. That's exactly what happened. But usually when you have an established closer and he's your closer, the old school mentality is it doesn't matter who's coming up or what the matchups are. That's my closer. Dusty Baker just went out of the box even for himself to play the matchups to start this 9th inning. I think it's great.
Front door breaking ball. Papelbon's last save was the first game in Kansas City a week ago Monday, backing Gio in that 2-0 win. He was in another game in that series and ended up on the losing end when the Royals rallied. So he hasn't pitched that much lately. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You don't want this inning to go beyond this hitter and Prado, who's on deck. And by the way, we mentioned Chris Heisey's 14 pinch home runs all time. Matt Stairs, 23, the most.
Stairsy. He tried for every single one of those too. It wasn't like he was shortening up trying to put it in play.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He was Babe Ruth as a pinch hitter in more ways than one.
Swing and a miss. Papelbon with 77 on the hook. 2 outs.
I don't know that I've seen a Jonathan Papelbon slider this slow this year. Talk about subtracting from his off speed, and maybe that's by design. We're going to have to ask him. 77 miles an hour, and Real Muto couldn't stay back.
Martin Prado against Papelbon career. 2 for 10. 28,232 paid tonight. It has been a full night of baseball.
It's been a very entertaining game.
Prado tonight 0 for 3 with a base on balls. Runner goes, the Nats give second base to Derek Dietrich. All that matters is strike 1. To short, Espinoza, long throw for the win. Bangs it over to first. Zimmerman digs it, and the Nats take the first game of the series against Miami.
Well, tonight was about the bench guys and the bullpen. So Gio Gonzalez did a nice job of navigating through some tough times behind him. The bench came up big. Stephen Drew, Chris Heisey, Bryce Harper, the MVP with the clutch home run, but the bullpen nice once again for Dusty Baker's squad.
Blake Treinen gets the win. Papelbon, 10th save, 3 hours and 19 minutes. More in a moment from Nationals Park.